Hello, good evening. Welcome to Business Live. Coming up, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta confident of securing the next tranche of funding from the International Monetary Fund in November. We have the details.
You know, between Parliament and Cabinet, we've gone through most of the qualitative performance criteria. So we expect that the review in September will go well to get an SLA, and then we will go to the board in November.
Bulk oil distributors begin discussions with government to possibly resume participation in the Gold for Oil program.
I've never been against Gold for Oil in principle. We had reservation about certain operational challenges that are presented. But now that we have clarity and there is a proper plan in place, we'll always continue to do business with BOST.
Plus, Associate Professor Williams Prepare welcomes intervention by government to begin payment of coupons and principals to individual bondholders, stating it will bring stability in the financial sector.
So we may see that deposits at within the financial institutions are going to increase, because these bondholders, they are not just immediately going to use the funds that they have received. Some of them will still be focusing on other forms of investment.
We have details of these and many others lined up for you. Please stay. Thanks so much for choosing us. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Let's now look at our stories. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is confident that government will secure a staff-level agreement for the next staff visit of the International Monetary Fund for the disbursement of the second tranche of the 3-year economic program with the Bretton Woods institution. Speaking to journalists at the Ghana Trade Fair Redevelopment Project Investor Conference in Accra, Mr. Ofori-Atta hinted that the country is regaining economic confidence after securing the $3 billion IMF deal.
The second tranche of $600 million will be disbursed if the government meets the IMF's conditionalities. A team of IMF staff is expected to carry out a review of Ghana's performance so far. Ken Ofori-Atta said confidence in the economy is bouncing back after many efforts in meeting the IMF conditionalities. This, he believes, will pave the way for the next disbursement, which is expected in November.
You know, we had an IMF visit maybe 3 weeks ago. That went well. The review will happen in September. And so far, you know, between Parliament and Cabinet, we've gone through most of the qualitative performance criteria. So we expect that the review in September will go well to get an SLA, and then we will go to the board in November for that whilst we are doing the budget.
So we'll get it in November?
Well, God always puts the country through, and I think with all of your help, all of us speaking the same language, managing our bond investors for patience, we will get there. I'm confident about that.
Speaking on the coupon payment for bondholders, Mr. Ofori-Atta called for more sacrifice since liquidity has become a challenge for the government.
I think really, I mean, it's been a very difficult period. As you know, July last year, as a country, we're really unsure of the direction that we're going to be going. Clearly, we all worked very hard, and by May 17th, we had received the fund approval. But there's going to be continuing sacrifices because liquidity is a problem. And we must, as a nation, as I mentioned, begin to understand and speak one language in this period in which we are trying to rebuild to get back into sort of stability. As you can see, there's quite a bit of confidence coming in. Inflation, of course, was 50-something% last year. It's coming down. A bit stability in currency, which is good for us.
Meanwhile, the leadership of the various bondholder groups and government are expected to issue a communique on payment terms for subsequent matured coupons.
And to some other stories, the leadership of the coalition of individual bondholders groups has called off its intended picketing of the Ministry of Finance today. Now, this follows the announcement by the Finance Ministry the complete payment of all outstanding coupons and principals to individual bondholders up until June 19. It has instructed the timely settlement of coupons due until July 10. Now, in a statement, the government expressed its commitment to maintaining open and constructive engagement with the leadership of the coalition of individual bondholders groups. Convener of the coalition, Senior Hossi, described the move as a victory for all bondholders.
We had engagements yesterday following our indicated picketing, and government took some steps, and we must recognize the effort made by government. On the back of that, and in pursuit of social stability and peace, we have opted to take a step down on our picketing. What we wanted were the monies. The funds have so far been executed per the statement that was made. We can confirm receipt of a number of the payments that have been listed out there. Our independent checks have also confirmed that the others have been duly processed, and that gives us adequate comfort. The commitment by government to honor its obligations on the MOU has also been restated. This gives us enough comfort for now. But this is a suspension, and government and everybody should be minded. Our patience and our cooperation should not be taken for granted. These are lives at stake. These are not people who just represent the statistics on the books of operatives in the Ministry of Finance. There are lists of payments that have been made. Some of them have fully been confirmed. Others, some banks have also received are yet to actually credit their customer accounts. There are others that have had instructions sent, and we have confirmed all those instructions along the chain. So some of them may actually crystallize by close of day. Others may take another day, which may be tomorrow. By Thursday, we expect that everybody should have their accounts for the payments that have been executed.
More on coupon payments, Associate Professor at Andrews University in the USA, Professor Williams Prepra, has stated that a swift intervention by government to begin payment of coupons and principals for some individual bondholders will bring some stability in the financial sector while boosting the economy. According to him, although the move is long overdue, it will go a long way to cushion these bondholders in these trying times. Professor Prepra was reacting to the suspension of the intended picketing by the individual bondholders following government's reassurance of meeting all its obligations as stipulated in the Memorandum of Understanding signed on May 16 between government and the coalition.
Pressures within the family setting, and especially for the aged. The implication may be that it's simply just a transfer of funds from bonds to other forms of savings. So we may see that deposits at within the financial institutions are going to increase, because these bondholders, they are not just immediately going to use the funds that they have received. Some of them will still be focusing on other forms of investment. And now we know the safest form of investment in Ghana is a treasury bill. So I'm sure government will find a way to still, let me put in a simple terms, collect the money back into the system. If not, the other impact when you have a lot of money coming into circulation is to induce inflation, because those who have received their coupons and principals will be thinking of expanding or consumption. It's good news. It's going to boost the economy, but it must be done in a way that will bring equilibrium within the financial sector.
Let's do something on energy, because Central Oil Refinery is seeking government help to grow a local industry to support the country's domestic demand for petroleum products. Addressing an entourage from the Ministry of Trade and Industry led by the Minister Katie Hammond, chairman of Central Group, disclosed that after completion, the company would be capable of producing 5 million metric tons of quality products per annum, which will help manage demand for foreign exchange for importation of finished products.
The visit by the Trade Minister Katie Hammond formed part of moves to support local industries and promote manufacturing. Total investment of the Sentio oil refinery project is $1.98 billion and is estimated to provide over 900 direct jobs. Chairman of the Sentio Group, Zin Nkwan, is seeking government support so it could benefit from some reliefs and strengthen local refinery.
Because I like Ghana, we need to do something good for Ghana, for image future for Ghana. Today in the war, no, and already industrial go high. Our Ghana we need to follow. What can do good thing for Ghana today in the energy side? Refinery is key. I do these projects. Future for our Central Group. Second for our Ghana future to growing is important to our Ghanaians. All because our Central Refinery for energy side is safe, comfortable. Also get a good quality, good price to supply to whole Ghana.
After a brief tour of the yet-to-be-commissioned facility, Minister for Trade and Industry K.T. Amon was impressed with the project. He therefore assured he would work with the Energy Minister and relevant agencies to ensure that Sentio gets the necessary support, which includes some tax waivers.
I'm going to work very hard at that. Quite a bit, well, if not all of our current production, I think has been forward traded. But it seems to me significant that a structure of this caliber should be run with the crude from this country. I'm going to speak with the Minister for Energy. Obviously, it will be on the table of the President, and we'll take it from there. But it's an interesting proposition that I intend to take up a lot. In the last couple of years, there have been considerable challenges in Parliament as to this particular process of granting the exemptions. We're working on it. The President tasked myself and the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Leader of the House, to make sure that this matter is completely streamlined. We intend to see the Speaker about it, and I hope that will make some progress. Not only this, there's quite a few of them which are all choked up in the system. We'll hope to get them sorted out.
The facility, which is in its phase, will refine 2 million metric tons of crude oil per annum.
A while longer in the industry, because bulk distributors of petroleum products have begun discussions with government to possibly resume participation in the Gold for Oil program. This is coming after some oil marketing companies and bulk oil distribution firms last month announced that they are backing out of the program due to how it is being implemented. Chief Executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distribution Companies, Dr. Patrick Ofori, says their concerns have now been addressed, hence the need to get back to the program.
We have never been against Gold for Oil in principle. We had reservation about certain operational challenges that are presented. But now that we have clarity and there is a proper plan in place, we'll always continue to do business with BOST based on their strategic role that they play within the downstream sector. But what this means is that we will still continue to engage other state agencies and entities to ensure that we have a way that we can also be rolled onto the program to also ensure we have that level playing field. Indeed, most of our members patronize the products that were brought in from there, except that different members have different business model that we're pushing that to enable everyone conduct business in a safer environment that seeks to give equal opportunities for everyone.
All right, so joining me on phone on this is Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, Duncan Amoah. Duncan, pleasure you could join me on Business Live. I want to know or get from you what you make of reports that some of the oil marketing companies, of course, the bulk oil distribution firms, are now looking at the option of getting back to the Gold for Oil program.
Well, indeed, like what Patrick just said, they haven't been in principle against Gold for Oil. The implementation module clearly was a problem from the onset, and for which industry, including civil society actors, raised legitimate concerns to insist that you don't grant license to people, give them authorization to do a certain economic activity, and then turn around to say that, well, now we are going to use only the state buffer, which is BOS, to do the distribution of petroleum products, calling it gold for oil. So, yes, Patrick is right. They are not in principle against it. It is for that reason that most of the time what BOS has brought has been consumed by the BDCs and the OMCs. Without them, gold for oil, in principle, wouldn't have survived a day. What Patrick is also clear when I had my last interaction with him on this program is to the extent that now there's some agreement in principle that BOS would not be allowed to exceed 25% of market share. What that means is that the others who are private players would also have something to do within the market. That for us sounds more like a good plan as opposed to the initial discussion, if you recall, where government was suggesting BOS was going to ramp up to 50%, up to 100% of market. We would always call for caution, because once you begin to allow a state buffer like BOS to go into full trading and take over the market, the danger of product disruption doesn't only become imminent, but sometimes it could be real, because government has not been the best of business people as far as doing business.
I guess your suggestions to government over the past few weeks or months for the right things to be done has also helped in the program being transformed, right?
Yes, we'll continue to hold the feet of government to the fire to ensure that they don't just overshoot the runway and cause disaster or danger for all of us. So we will continue to ask questions. We'll continue to analyze whatever policy options they put on the table. We don't do so out of malice. We do so with a view to ensuring that the taxpayer is not kept in some difficult place where at the end of the day you would hear we've traded, BOS has made losses. So the taxpayer who had no idea how pricing was done, how trading was done, is called upon to pay for whatever overruns or losses that may have been occasioned. This is a good move, and we think that, of course, as the program continue to evolve, they will be able to keep finding solutions to the challenges that have confronted the Gold for Oil program all this while.
Duncan, what do you think could be the impact of this development on the supply of petroleum products and prices as well?
What I know is that the BDCs are stuck to working. BOS has also played its role. The supply hasn't been disrupted so far. The bit that we were earlier concerned about had to do with the Bank of Ghana auctioning of forex or dollars to the market. One of the IMF conditionalities we cited was asking that BOG should stop that practice. And we think that if BOG is indeed forced to stop, then you're simply pushing the BDCs to now resort to open market. And that will mean that quoting way higher values for the forex, which comes into computation for fuel price eventually. Well, I do think that the market generally is doing quite well, is robust at this point. If we do not unnecessarily overburden any segment of the market, I don't see how we get into any problem over the next couple of months.
All right, let's move away from this topic. What should we expect in terms of prices for the next pricing window, Duncan? I'm sure consumers would want to know.
Now, you have a situation where the product mix and then the forex together. Sometimes you will compute the figures and then the market delivers, totally different prices altogether. What we know at this point is that we are not in any danger immediately of prices escalating, so it doesn't look as though people should be worried. it's okay. We're in good time.
But looking at the current developments on the global market and in terms of crude prices, we can now say that the era of increased prices are over, should we?
No, you cannot, especially because of the forex situation. It goes up, it comes down. Whatever is being done to keep the forex at where it is, we think that the Bank of Ghana should be encouraged to sustain. Again, international market prices have been very favorable, I think, since the beginning of the year. And so whilst we ride on these two, if there's any other thing we could do to bring prices down further, we will be all up for it, because at the end of the day, when prices decide to go up, they would not go up from a lower point of, say, 6 or 7 or 8. We're already at 12. Although prices have been stable, we are not out of the woods yet. It could get better, it could get worse, but only the days ahead would be able to determine. If you look at OPEC action towards looking at still cutting back, because they would need a barrel to probably go back to 90, 100, and it's currently going around 60. Then you would be worried, if you are an analyst or observer, that if they were able to push the right buttons to cause prices up, maybe something else would hit all of us. But as I said, for now, we look like we are in a very good place due to the forex performance, and then again, to what the global market dynamics also has been.
Great, great. Good to know we need not to worry. Duncan Amoa is the Executive Secretary of COPEC speaking to us there. You're still watching Business Live here with me, Pius Kojo Baka. There'll be more after this break. Hello again. Let's take this story quickly. Netherlands Ambassador to Ghana, Jeroen Verheul, says Ghana can leverage its young entrepreneurs for economic growth. According to him, the potential of these entrepreneurs is one, the country can invest to transform the economy through job creation. He says his country will extend its acceleration program for young entrepreneurs to support the operations. Verheul spoke to Joy Business at the Orange Corners Cohort 7 graduation and the launch of Cohort 8.
Orange Corners is an initiative of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands that provides young entrepreneurs across the world with training, mentorship, network, funding, and facilities to start and grow their business. The program supports innovative solutions to local challenges that contribute to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, in addition to partnership with various stakeholders to support and strengthen local entrepreneurial ecosystem. His Excellency Jeroen Verheul said 1.5 million euros was invested in the Cohort 7.
Yet to get to all the regions. We are now in 5 areas. We are in Accra, we're in Kumasi, we're in Takoradi, we're in Ho, and we're in Tamale. So that's in the 5 areas. We want to see how we move with those areas, because it's always difficult to find the locations that are suitable for the training and to find the trainers that are equipped for the training. But what we also want to do is to expand the training in a digital way, so that more people across the country have access to it, so that it is not limited to one location, but that it is basically accessible in the whole country. We give preference to female entrepreneurs, and we also give preference to entrepreneurs in the agricultural sphere, either cocoa or horticulture, because these are areas that the embassy is very interested in. But it's not exclusively for that. But we favor them because they are linked to what the embassy wants to achieve.
The Regional Director for Management for Development Foundation, Richard Yabwa, said the program goes beyond merely generating employment opportunities, but focuses on creating decent jobs.
Well, you know, I will actually say that funding is available, but the criteria to get these fundings are challenging, and most of the businesses that we encounter are not able to go through that whole process of formalization. So our program really helps them to look at their business and structure the things properly. So some of the things is very basic, where they mix their private income with their company expenditures. So we really help them to streamline that, separate that, and then also use the banking system to process their incomes and expenditures.
The next cohort will have the opportunity to benefit from the vast resources, mentorship, and network of support that Orange Corners offers.
And that's how we part company here on Business Live. I am Pius Kojo Baka, grateful serving you.